Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
The world is here.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva
The world is here.
Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva.
Hello, my name is Elvis Sequeira.
मैं हूं मलकीत सिंह।
Hi, my name is Sarthak.
आप सुन रहे हैं ग्रेटर नोएडा का अपना सामुदायिक रेडियो स्टेशन सुनो शारदा 90.8 FM।
The world is here. The world is here. The world is here. The world is here at Sharda University. Where are you?
Now we'll move on to the next session, and I would request to the tech team now, you can please play the next speaker's introduction.
Ashish Sharad Kulkarni is the chairman of FICCI for animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics. He is an exceptional animator and a versatile media professional with a career spanning over a staggering 36 years. His body of work includes some of India's finest original Indian animated content, such as Little Krishna and Shaktiman. Krishna and Kans was India's first animated stereoscopy 3D feature film, released in Hindi, English, and Tamil. The most recent feather in his cap is India's first girl superhero series titled Mary Kom Jr. Ashish has bagged several awards and has been a final jury member in the New York Film Festival, Banff Awards, Dada Saheb Phalke Awards, and the like. Mr. Kulkarni has been honored with the National Education Leadership Award from the Indian Economic Development and Research Association. He has designed the curriculums for top-notch animation schools in the country. He has served on the Academic Council of FTII Pune. He also initiated the very premium Reliance Animation and Infotainment Media School. Mr. Kulkarni is also the founder of Punar Yug Art Vision Private Limited and Screen Yug Creations Private Limited. His new initiative is the creation of an art village called the Green Butterfly, a global art village at Lonavala.
Well, thank you so much, tech team, for that presentation, and thank you, the students who have made this wonderful AV. Before I hand over the mic to Dr. Ritu Sood for moderating the session, Ashish sir, I would really like to tell you one thing. I have got a son who's a 3.5-year-old, and he is a big fan of your work. He has been watching your animated work since about 2 years now, and every time he wants to see the same cartoons all the time. Thank you so much for giving us that content all the time. Now over to you, Dean ma'am, Ritu ma'am, please take over.
Amit, it's not your 3-year-old son, but all of us are watching.
True, absolutely true. All right, the spotlight on Ashish sir now.
So thanks so much, Ritu ma'am and
Hello, Ashish
Amit.
sir, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you doing?
It's great to have you here.
Thanks so much.
So we'll take us through the journey, sir.
You want my journey or the industry's journey?
Both.
Okay. So to tell you quickly, I'm from Nagpur and I studied there, and I was mostly very active with NCC and the Rotaract clubs. But I actually found my way with Eureka Forbes, Hitkari Fibers, Dinshaw's Ice Cream, followed by, I got into Navbharat newspapers, and then I was with Mudra Communications as a CEO before I got into animation about 21 years ago. That was the beginning of animation in this country, and we actually went through a very tough time. People in India thought learning computers is learning animation, and that was actually not true, because you needed a creative bent of mind, you needed design thinking, you needed either to know creative arts or performing arts or design to be actually delivering animation. Because in animation, when you do from ideation to script and script to screen, actually it goes through 52 different stages, and you require specialists for every single stage. It's like a human body, and then you have a specialist in bones, you have a specialist for brain, you have a specialist for heart, you have a specialist for ENT, you have a specialist for oncology. It's exactly the same thing. So you need to know the whole process of storytelling and filmmaking. At the same time, you need to know the stages. The grammar that you use for creating animation is so robust that once you follow the grammar, you cannot go wrong. And once people actually learn the process of animation, they can deliver, whether it's a television live action or a feature film in live action or in animation or ad films, they can deliver pretty much everything, because that's how that process is well defined. While we actually going through this whole process, we realized that, the formal education was missing in our country. And that was because not many people went to the creative arts and performing arts, because we had no marks for creative arts, performing arts, design, and sports into the school curriculum. So parents pushed their kids, and the kids loved it. And they actually were doing it like a hobby. And at some point in time, they wanted to make a profession. But if they would have actually been nurtured from the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, they would have actually become Sachin Tendulkars of animation, of storytelling and filmmaking and everything. But the thing is that we don't give marks for all these things till the 12th grade. The things are changing. But that was the biggest hurdle, to find the right people. So I went to places like Tanjore, Mahabalipuram, Ramnagaram, Channapatna, Krishnanagar, to find artists who are traditionally been trained in the art forms that are famous from there, and actually brought them to the studio and started teaching them the tools. And to my surprise, they delivered the best, and they still continue to deliver the best. At the same time, we went to many art schools and started, pushing kids to not only do applied arts or, the fine arts, but actually move from fine arts to animation. Because what is taught into the art schools in India is how to make a great caricature. But the science of animation is about moving that caricature in the right proportion. Look at the right, color theory, look at the light, source of light, and a lot of other things. And that's why we actually went a long way. I personally went to 83 universities, actually got almost 27 of them starting animation programs and visual effects program. Luckily, 17 of them are designed by me, including Whistling Woods, lovely professional university, Chitkara, and then we have Ahmedabad, we have Annamalai University, TISS, and also the FTI, and many more. And I think today we are much better off, because there are many universities who are now thinking of starting creative programs. My only worry is that many of the universities try to look at animation, visual effects, and gaming into an engineering vertical. And that's definitely a wrong thing to do. And I think that's where we need to add a large amount of value to the whole system, that participation with all the studios to design the programs is something that needs to be done, because we are into an industry where the technology changes every 9 months. And I think adaptation to the technology is one thing, but the foundation is extremely important. And I think the whole concentration on foundation is something that we need to build to actually get India to the right place. Having said that, we today have actually reached a situation where we have built a big hub of animation, gaming, visual effects, comics, AR, and VR out of India. 80% of India actually services to the global studios. And today, you name a feature film in the world, and most of the feature films in the credits you will find Indians. And that's a big success that India actually has created over the last 2 decades. Today, you name any top studio in the world, they would love to work with Indian studios. And I think that's a very big positive that we have created as an industry. What we actually want to do further is to see that how we can actually do a cluster formation, because the COVID-19 has taken a big toll on predominantly the employment structures. And I'm happy to tell you that animation guys have not lost all their jobs, because animation is still delivered from their homes. And that's a very positive thing in the process of animation, because when IT industry was even thinking about outsourcing, animation since its early 70s was already outsourcing. IT industry started outsourcing in late 80s and early 90s. But almost 2 decades prior to that, animation industry was already outsourcing their production. So animation industry was very well versed with doing that. And so is the gaming, visual effects, and the comics industry. And today it gives us a big thing that although 30-40% of the people are not going to the studios anymore, some places more than 70% people are not been going to the studios because of the COVID situation. And some places, there are only 10% people in the studio today, predominantly the directors and the editors and the line producers. But the work is still getting delivered because they can actually produce at home with their workstations and start delivering. The problem that we are facing is the bandwidth. And the bandwidth is something that can be solved if you are actually into the cluster formation. And some of the cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Trivandrum, and Calcutta is predominantly doing well for delivery. Even Gurgaon and Noida is doing extremely well, that they are delivering the shows. The pace of delivery of the show has gone down by about 30-35%. But I think delivering 65% is even good. And I think most of the shows lost the premiering for the kids, because animation in India is considered to be kids genre. We are waiting for the day when it becomes a family entertainment. And I was particularly happy when Dr. Ritu said, we also watch animation. We are waiting for the day that we get a larger base of audience. We are not called as a kids genre anymore. If we are actually going to become a family entertainment genre very soon, the reason is going to be extremely important for the industry, because your complete bandwidth increases from 2-year-old to 90-year-old. And that's where the challenge of storytelling would be much different. But what we are delivering at this point in time is something which is more for the kids. And we understand the kids space more strongly. And the kids would continue to want to be the most loyal audience that any age profile would provide. And that's why the responsibility of animation producers and the creators is so high, that you need to do a content that is relevant for the kids. It has to be edutainment. The education also should, take forward the process. At the same time, there are new age kids who are constantly coming in with new understanding and the new tools and the new exposure. So you need to tweak that content to a very different level. And I think that understanding is where India is actually doing quite well at this point in time. We have 23 different kids channels in India, which are all actually producing original content. Although only 20% of the studios in India are producing original Indian content. But I think just for an industry within the first 2 decades has done extremely well. And I am very happy that the cost at which we are producing the right quality, nowhere in the world that kind of a quality is delivered with this kind of costing. So there are 2 or 3 major points I would like to say. We were talking about the changing paradigm. I would say in space of animation and visual effects, you're going to be flooded with work. So students who are actually in this space need to fine tune their skills. They need to make sure that their foundation is really strong. And like a singer or a player of any sport, you are also a player of animation. So you need to practice your drawing, your photography skills, and your acting skills every single day. Because if you do that, Riyaz, you will be able to deliver much better. At the same time, all the live action producers are telling us that there are restrictions on live action shoots. So we will have to create majority of the backgrounds and everything in the CG, and that much more work is going to get added from the month of October, November, as the feed for live action shoots starts coming in. So the pressure on delivering the visual effects shows for the films and television is going to be enormous, and we are going to require a large amount of manpower coming in that space. Thirdly, there's an unique alignment for co-productions between multiple countries in animation. And I think that's something which is going to improve the traction post-COVID with India, because India has delivered the right kind of qualities, whether it was 2D animation or 3D animation or claymation. And that's one of the reasons that the large number of countries today are wanting to partner with India. And since the last 6 years, we have signed about 14 co-production treaties. And I think that's one positive sign that we are seeing that is going to move forward. And we don't have to be physically meeting or physically be into each other's studio, but we can do it with syncing our servers and still delivering the shows from multiple locations. And I think that's the uniqueness of delivering animation programs. About OTT, I think there were a lot of questions, and Bhuvanlal sir has put the whole perspective very nicely. I would say for animation and visual effects industry, OTT is a boom, because the cost of the shows are much better than the broadcast. And I think that's going to add, a lot to improving quality of shows from India. And I think while we are getting into the world of coexistence, where all the platforms are going to be coexisting, people in many countries are saying television is dead. India is one country where the penetration in 28% of India is still to happen for television. So we still have a lot of life left for television in India. So the broadcasting is going to continue. The feature films are going to come back. At the same time, the OTT is going to grow. In India, the OTT is going to grow more in the hands with the mobile phone. So I think quality of viewership on your television screens, which are becoming larger at home. At the same time, the consumption pattern for many people in India on the mobile phone, I would say if you need to see between the television and mobile, India is going to be more tilted towards the mobile side. So I think we have a very unique case study as far as India is concerned. And even the gaming on mobile is something which is going to be one of the largest engaging platforms that we can see. And the content created for that is going to be very, very unique. So we need to see where we want to make our career and how we want to join the industry. But I would always suggest every student to make sure that you are multitasking and you are specialist of certain things, but you at the same time, you have to be useful to the studio at all times. So you need to multitask. If you're a great modeler, you need to be learning lighting also. If you're a great animator, you need to have expressions. You need to make sure that you can also do the lips and a lot of other things, not only do the key animation. So I think there are many things like this which are very important for you to deliver, and be prepared that you would probably not find a job on the roll with the company, but you will have to deliver from home, because the nature of entertainment industry is that whether you make a film or television show or an ad film, the director, producer, actors, cinematographer, everybody comes together. They sign in for that project and then they are again on their own. So this phenomenon is going to happen in animation and visual effects also. So you will have to be relevant with your skills for a particular show, and you will be sign on for the show again and again. The only thing is that animation shows and visual effects shows are fairly longer for duration, because the shooting happens in 35 days or 80 days or 40 days. But animation continues for almost 2 years, 3 years. So you will be signed on for a longer period of time. but please make sure that you do your riyas so that you can continue to deliver in time. I think there was a time that we were flooded with 100% of the shows were all foreign shows. But since the time we have created Chota Bheem, Little Krishna, Shiva, and many other properties, the TRP rating itself has shown that the people watch, or the kids watch, more of Indian subjects than the foreign subjects. And that's why slowly all the channels have started investing into creating Indian shows. The only thing is, like Bhuvan ji said, the era has come where we lose all the rights to the networks. And that's something that we need to see. There is a need that we need to create Doordarshan Kids in this country so that we have a full indigenous content. And as an industry, we have been pitching for it. I hope very soon the government would listen to us and create Doordarshan Kids, which is 100% Indian content. And I'm very happy, like Nickelodeon, Sony actually has a 100% Indian content channel called Ye. So I think even Discovery Kids today or Cartoon Network has many Indian shows. More than 50-60% shows are Indian. I think that's a very positive sign. I think the audience is supporting us, the parents are supporting us, and we definitely have a lot of energy and a lot of stories to tell the world. And animation is a unique form of storytelling which travels across the globe, because you can dub it in any language and people cannot tell whether it was created in English or French or in Spanish. So you can just dub it and take it to any market, because the kids world over have similar kind of habits and they take liking to the character. So we have a very, very strong case.